This episode of Headlock Talk is brought to you by Austin-based company Naturally Hemp's and their new line of CBD gummies. These gummies are made with 100% baked-in, pharmaceutical-grade, non-isolate-based CBD. What we're talking about here is the entourage effect. The entourage effect refers to the stronger effect you get when combining multiple cannabinoids together, as opposed to just CBD. Full-spectrum CBD, or CBD distillate, tends to be more potent and lasts longer. Unlike some other brands that use a spray-on CBD, Naturally Hemp CBD distillate is baked in, so you know you're getting the full dose with each gummy. I personally use them for all kinds of things, like sleep aid or muscle pain. And did I mention they taste great? They got 5 flavors. Strawberry, green apple, lemon lime, watermelon, and get this, the orange flavor has vitamin C in it. Ooh. So, if this sounds like something you could go for, head over to your nearest Create a Sig vape shop and pick yours up today to see for yourself the difference Naturally Hemp's gummies can make in your life.
So, Ronda Rousey said in a recent interview that she did the easy version of WWE. I mean, is there really an easy way of working WWE? I mean,
what does she mean by that?
I guess maybe like, I don't know, I haven't read the whole interview yet, but I saw it like pop up when I was looking over some news.
I mean, I could say you took the easy way out because you're freaking Ronda Rousey.
I don't know if like the easy way out, but like, you know what I mean? Like she kind of like had it a little bit more propped up than maybe some of the other people. I mean,
yeah, I would agree with that. I've said that on previous episodes.
Right.
I have no bad blood towards Ronda Rousey,
not at all.
If she's saying, "Oh, I got the easy version of WWE," I can pretty much agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, if she's saying it, I mean,
if that's what she means by it.
Yeah. I'll have to read the article and see what she means. Yeah. So. Yeah, I just didn't think that there was an easy version of being in WWE. If you'd be like 300 days out of the year, you're away from your house.
No, but
away
if
from
you're
your family,
if you're comparing Ronda Rousey's WWE run and Kurt Hawkins' WWE run, I would say Ronda Rousey got the easier bit. You know what I mean?
You know what's not the easy bit, Steven?
What's that?
This episode of Headlock Talk, ladies and gentlemen, we are back.
Oh snap!
Oh snap! Indeed. All right. Of course, my name's Tanner, and to my right, the one, the only, Mr. Stephen Grudy.
I'm back, everyone.
He's back.
Hello.
So, Stephen, you're going to have to tell us all about your trip to Seattle here for the 10 count.
Oh, okay. I see.
Tell us all about your trip to Seattle, man.
Man, so when I was younger, we went to California for Disneyland.
Yeah.
That's Disneyland, right? Not World. World's in Florida.
World's in Florida.
Right. So we went to Disneyland, but I was really, really young. I was like 6 or something like that. And I remember a little bit about it, but not too much. So I consider this trip to be my first like real, like outside of Texas vacation.
Yeah.
And man, I had the freaking time of my life.
I bet.
It was awesome, man. Seattle's a fantastic city. We were also in Bellevue and Kent, which are two like kind of subdivision cities of Seattle. I guess you could equate it to like Round Rock. Here in Austin, basically.
Round Rock in Austin. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, everyone we talked to was the nicest person, salt of the earth people.
It's a beautiful part of the country. If you guys haven't been to Seattle before, or if you're not in the U.S. and you want to come to the U.S., Seattle is definitely a marquee place to go.
Absolutely, yeah. And they're a huge tourist town, too. So people who aren't from there, you got plenty to do there. We went to this one place called the Chihuly Glass Museum, which was really, really cool. I forget the guy's name. His last name's Chihuly, though. He's a famous...
not like Cholula, like the hot sauce.
Not like the hot sauce.
Okay.
Like the hot sand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's an ironic name for him.
But no, it was really, really cool. We did see the Museum of Pop Culture. They had a whole thing with Nirvana and Jimi Hendrix.
That's cool.
They had a lot of their old gear and stuff like that.
Any WWE or wrestling memorabilia up there?
I didn't see any.
No.
I didn't see any. I saw some pop figures.
That's cool.
Yeah, some pretty cool pop figures. I saw a Sergeant Slaughter pop figure
I
haven't seen before.
There you go.
Yeah.
The Sarge.
Yeah. We went to Pike Place Market. I don't know if y'all have heard of that.
Yeah, well, they throw fish.
They throw fish. Yeah, they have these cherries that are like the size of a small golf ball.
Yeah.
And they're fantastic.
I bet they're delicious. Cherries.
They really are. And I'm not a seafood guy, so it's kind of funny that I went to Seattle because that's like, that's their big.
That's like 90% of like what they eat.
Yeah, but everything else we had was fantastic. We went to this place called Romeo's. It's like an Italian grill. Had some pasta.
Nice.
Some bangin' pasta. And then also there were some fun stuff.
There was some fun stuff.
There's fun stuff in Seattle and in some states that we don't have here in Texas.
Yeah. Oh.
And
like slip and slide, or like
no more.
Like,
just look at Matt Riddle.
Huh.
And what you think of with Matt Riddle. Seattle's got a lot of fun versions of that. So.
Matt Riddle. Like skateboarding.
Yeah.
Or
like some skateboarding.
Like flip flops.
Flip flops. Yep.
Okay.
I saw lots of flip flops.
Huh. Man, I really don't know what this is, Steven. I'll do my own research.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. I don't want to say it on air and ruin the surprise.
There you go.
Lots of fun stuff. It's a very green state.
Oh, like they're eco-friendly.
Sure.
Okay. Fair enough.
Sure.
I'll have to take a trip sometime and see how it is.
One thing that was weird though, their highways are 60 miles an hour.
That's pretty wonderful. I would expect them to be a bit faster.
Felt like I was going slow everywhere.
Yeah, I'd expect them to be fast.
And their highways are crazy too. They got these there's pre-exits that you take, and then off of that exit there's 3 other exits. And one will take you south, one will take you north, one will take you west, and if you take the wrong turn, you're going in the exact opposite direction. The highways are insane over there.
Speaking of insane, I don't mean to cut you off.
No.
But this episode of Headlock Talk is going to be more WWE centric.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because we're going to preview Money in the Bank. We're going to preview a couple other things, hopefully going on. But I wanted to just touch base and say how awesome Progress Wrestling's Super Strong Style 16 tournament was.
Oh, yeah.
I just was able to watch night 1. There are 3 nights of it, and I know we plug Demand Progress all the time. It's the Demand Dash Progress.
Yep.
Go to there. You can sign up for about $8 a month. It's well worth it. You get their whole back catalog of wrestling shows. You also get a whole bunch of other promotions that you can watch. We are not a paid sponsor by any means. We're just 2 fans.
2 big fans.
2 big fans. But Steven, I know you're looking forward to getting into some progress with this show, and I can tell you right now, night 1 did not disappoint. And from what I've heard from our friends at WrestleThoughts, all 3 nights were fantastic.
Right on.
So,
right on. I'm ready to jump back into wrestling, man.
Yeah.
Been gone for a week. I'm ready.
Highly looking forward to it. And then next week, we've got New Japan's Best of the Super Juniors tournament, which is going to be great.
Man.
Our good friend Jonathan Gresham is going to be there. Will Ospreay is going to be there. Bandito's going to be there. El Phantasmo from Canada, he will be there.
These are some huge names.
These are some big names, guys. So, Best of the Super Juniors is another big one to look out for. And if you don't subscribe to them, or if you're like, man, I'm really picky about how I spend my money, and I get that, you probably already unsubscribed from WWE Network. And you know what? That's cool. That's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, if you have an extra $20 a month to spend on some high-quality wrestling streaming, Demand Progress and New Japan's New Japan World are both great choices to make here. Definitely with the Best of the Super Juniors next week, it's going to be fantastic. It'll be probably about 2 weeks, I want to say. But yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. So, let's get into some more WWE-centric news here. We are going to do the Money in the Bank preview here, but of course, just to stay true with who we are, let's play some face turn, heel turn here, Steven.
Let's do it.
You ready to go?
I am.
Fantastic.
Let's do it.
I can't think of a better place to start face turn, heel turn than this past Monday night on Raw. We learned of a new rule a new wild card rule.
Uh-huh.
This is like the Limp Bizkit of like WWE trying hard to do something.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like it's just like, seriously, this is what you did. This is what you came up with.
Yeah.
So face turn, heel turn, Steven, on WWE's wild card rule here.
Heel turn, sort of.
Okay.
So the only problem I have with this is that if you're gonna make a new rule,
Yeah.
like that's fine. It's your product,
Right.
You know, like I'm not telling you what to do.
Right.
It's your thing. But if you're gonna make a rule, you gotta stick to your own rules.
Yeah.
And it's very strange that I can't remember all the people that they had brought out on Raw, but then at the end they had Lars Sullivan come out,
Yeah.
and then Vince was like, okay, 4 then, and
Just for the listener, and I apologize. This is on me.
Go ahead.
The wild card rule is basically Vince McMahon saying, "Hey, you can be on Raw if you're a SmackDown guy, or you can be on SmackDown if you're a Raw guy or gal for that matter. You can go onto these shows." I think he put like a designated 4-person maximum.
Well, he put a 3-person initially,
and then he made it 4.
whenever Lars came back and scared him.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So he made this rule, and then he said, but you have to be invited, right? And I don't know if too many people were invited on SmackDown the following night. Like the Usos definitely weren't invited, right?
Right.
Like so go on. I apologize. I was in the middle of
It's just kind of strange to me. It's a very confusing rule.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I do like the idea of I like the brand split personally. I think it leads to some cool storylines that we wouldn't get normally.
Yeah.
But it can also hinder in a way and kind of take some storylines off the table, right? And so the wild card rule is kind of cool because those storylines aren't taken off the table anymore,
right?
And you can have those SmackDown Raw feuds if you want to, but it just doesn't seem like there's any amount of consistency on this rule, and that they're kind of just writing the show and then saying, oh, they're here because of that rule that we mentioned, and it's like, okay, cool, but you haven't laid out what this rule is. In fact, you've changed it 3 times already.
Yeah.
So I'm not necessarily against it.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna make it this confusing and this inconsistent, it's like, man.
But Steven, Vince said himself that he's a genius for this, this decision. You don't agree?
I mean, it's not a bad decision.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a cool rule.
Yeah.
But they're not sticking with it in any way.
Yeah.
I
mean, yeah, you've convinced me. I'm going heel turn myself, but for different reasons. I think a lot of this that you have here with this new wild card rule can definitely hinder, like what you said, some of the other guys on the roster who wouldn't have a big spot. The reason why he's trying to do this is to get the big names and build anticipation. Anybody could show up from SmackDown or anybody can show up from Raw, and it's like, I get that, right? But let's try and promote some of the talent that you aren't really using, because you're needing to make stars.
There's a lot,
right? You need to make stars right now. If you're just saying, okay, well, here's the same few guys week in, week out, and they're going to appear twice a week, that's not really doing anybody very much good. You're overworking the talent that's already working hard.
Oversaturating.
Yep, and then but you're not creating new stars at the same time.
Right.
Plus, what are you going to do about Survivor Series? I mean, we're kind of like in the middle of like, okay, well, is this a brand split or is this not a brand split?
Right.
Like, what's up and down anymore?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I like that you brought up that point, because that's another really big thing here. Like, with Survivor Series, what are you going to do there?
Yeah.
If you are going to continue this whole thing of, they can come over at any time and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, why do we have 2 brands at all then?
Right. It's not the end of the world.
Right.
But it's like, I think there's a phrase for this, poop or get off the toilet, So are we gonna do this bland? I almost say it again, bland split. No, brand split.
Yeah.
Are we gonna do that, or are we just gonna do away with it?
Yeah.
Should it be everybody has a chance to be on the show. How about we just have the roster and you write good shows based on whoever's on the entire roster?
Yeah.
That should be Raw and SmackDown.
No, that's
to me.
Yeah, 100%. And this is, if it continues the way that it's looking like it's going to continue, it's just going to create an even bigger talent problem than what WWE has been doing recently, where, we saw Roman on both shows.
Yep.
We saw Styles on both shows. It's like, okay, cool. I'm not going to get mad at you for that, but at the same time, it's like, where was Rey Mysterio?
Right.
Where was,
Where's Buddy Murphy?
Where's Buddy Murphy?
Where's Cedric Alexander?
Absolutely.
I know where Aleister Black is, but he's been cutting promos.
That was a great promo too.
He cuts really good promos, but we need to see him.
Yeah.
We need to see him out there being a good, an awesome talent that we know that he is.
Yeah.
Where's Cesaro?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just...
These are the questions, ladies and gentlemen.
I just hope it doesn't lead to an even more stale product than what we've been getting, because Raw's been, SmackDown's been, a little better, but
Yeah.
But if you do carry on in this capacity, you're going to have a much bigger issue.
Speaking of big issues.
Oh, God.
Let's talk about Lars Sullivan real quick. I don't want to spend too much time on it. Because to be honest, I really don't feel like it's worth my time.
Yeah.
But Lars Sullivan came out and apologized for comments that he made on a bodybuilding forum that he used to be a member of.
Yeah.
One of his accounts that he got suspended, and then he created a whole nother account under a different name. A lot of these comments could be seen as bigoted or just very irrational. He made some comments about people with mental health issues, which is a bit ironic. We even apologized to Lars Sullivan after we found out that he had anxiety issues upon his trying to make a debut onto Raw. We apologized back in January for that, and yet now we find ourselves seeing, okay, well, he's actually, he's got problems against people who have mental health issues. So, the question is face turn, heel turn regarding his apology. Is it a believable apology? Do you feel like it's vindicated? Do you feel like he's done enough? Has WWE done enough?
So I'm very weird about this one just because I don't buy into the whole apology culture of bringing up someone's past and badgering them over it and really just being like, you're a terrible person because of this thing I found 6 years ago, right?
Right.
And
we all learn and we all grow.
Right. And so I understand that.
Yeah.
Everyone grows and everything like that. However, there's some really, really messed up stuff in there.
Yeah.
Most of the kind of rage mobs that you hear about are a little over the top.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
Really not, it's really not worth anyone's time to really go into that.
Mm-hmm.
This, however,
it's just a bit ironic, and I mean, it's going to be hard for either of us to say, okay, well, face turn, I believe it, or heel turn, I don't, because we don't know Lars's psyche.
I don't know
in
Lars,
this.
Right. I don't know Lars. I will say, it doesn't seem genuine to me over just some of the stuff that he said.
Yeah.
A lot of it was really brutal, but also nonchalant in a way that made me feel like, no, that's just how he feels, and he's just kind of speaking his mind.
Yeah. True.
I'll leave it with this. It's not a good look.
It's not a good look. And I think there's a few critical aspects of this. There was a fan on Twitter who asked Big E Langston about it, and Big E was like, yeah, there's people who are aware of the situation. It's kind of up to him to make it right or to show his true colors, you know, in so many words. I mean, that's not verbatim what he said, but that's kind of the point he was trying to put across.
Right.
There was another fan who Mars Wrigley, the Snickers.
Right. Yeah.
And they were like, are you okay with WWE promoting somebody like Lars Sullivan who's said these things? And apparently it's legit. And Snickers wrote them back and were like, we are aware, we do look forward to seeing WWE.
And honestly, and I don't want to cut you off too much, but that right there, that specific example is the kind of rage mob that I don't like. Yeah. Where it's like, hey, I'm going to go to this other company and try to ruin this guy's financial life. Yeah.
No, I get that for sure.
I don't dig that. I definitely don't dig what he said, but,
Right, it's up to their business. Yeah. I will note, and I agree with you on that. I will note that it is a bit strange that it was after somebody wrote to Big E Langston and he said the things that he said that WWE more likely than not had him say, okay, you need to sit down and do like a public apology about this stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it definitely seems like a more corporate apology than anything else.
Yeah, which corporate apologies never really come off as as genuine.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with that. Let's move on to something a bit more lighthearted, Steven. How about that?
A bit more.
I'll say substantially more lighthearted because I really like this idea. Yeah. Okay. So for those in the know, Shane McMahon gave Eric Rowan and Daniel Bryan the SmackDown tag titles. They didn't win them. Mm-hmm. He just gave it to them. Yeah. Which, that's a whole different can of worms right there. It's like, you could have had like some matches, right?
Yeah, like, you should have.
You're a wrestling show, right?
Yeah.
But
it's a talk show now.
I mean, they had
Sorry, go ahead.
They had a good enough match with the Usos. Mm-hmm. But I was kind of scrolling through, like I said, some wrestling news, and Daniel Bryan made an interesting comment about how he would like to see tag teams main event WrestleMania one day. So, Steven, face turn, heel turn, tag team main events at WrestleMania? What do you think about that?
Oh, man. So, tag team main events.
Yeah.
I'm totally for it.
Okay.
Totally for it.
Yeah.
A WWE ran tag team main event?
Yeah.
Please, God, no. Please, right. God, no. Now, if you want to get some tag teams from Progress, or from NXT, PWG, give them a main event, abso-freaking-lutely do it. Yeah. But with WWE's current track record of tag team matches, that would be a cluster beep,
a cluster explosion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? So you're going heel turn.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to go face turn.
Okay.
I am all for if you can build a story good enough. If it is on par with the best storytelling that you've had that year, and it happens to be a tag team feud, let's see it. I would love to see that.
I agree with that. Yeah. To a certain degree, just with the track record of tag team matches in WWE recently, that match would be awful.
Well, here. We're going to do some fantasy booking later, but let me fantasy book this.
Yeah.
Say you had both the Undisputed Era and Mustache Mountain on the main rosters, right? They already put on some great matches in NXT.
That's cheating.
No, but
that's cheating.
Let's just say, for all intents and purposes, right? Like, if you had WrestleMania in England, which has been rumored for years that they're going to try and do an England WrestleMania one day.
Yeah.
Why not have Mustache Mountain try and go for the tag team titles in the main event at WrestleMania one day?
You're painting me into a box here, Tanner.
I know.
That's cheating.
But
they are NXT.
But they could be main roster.
They absolutely could be main roster, but...
I'm just saying.
I agree with you, If we could have an Undisputed Era Mustache Mountain tag team main event at WrestleMania, yes, please, 100%. But they're NXT.
Or like Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins versus the War Raiders.
I guess.
Okay, so the state of tag team wrestling is much like the state of the rest of the wrestling in WWE. It's not there yet.
Yeah.
But I still believe it could be.
It absolutely could be.
Yeah.
It absolutely
I'm
could
certainly
be.
open to a story in which a tag team could be main eventing WrestleMania.
Yeah. I'm not completely closed off to it.
Yeah.
You know, they definitely could do it correctly.
Yeah.
It's just, from everything I've seen, it doesn't seem like they would do it correctly.
Yeah.
You know?
True. Fair. I get that completely. I understand. Let's move away from WWE real quick.
Okay.
All right, we'll move back to it in a moment. But let's talk about AEW. Double or Nothing's coming up very, very soon. And one of the storylines going into Double or Nothing is Hangman Adam Page. He talked about this at AEW's big press conference. How he wanted to be first ever AEW champion. After that, he was interrupted by Pac, and that set up their match for Double or Nothing. So, my question to you is, face turn, heel turn, should Hangman Adam Page be the first ever AEW champion?
Can I do both?
Face turn and heel turn?
And explain why
like
for both?
Like a tweener.
What?
yeah, that's a term, tweener. You're in between, face, heel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do both.
Okay. So give me some face turns and some heel turns.
So heel turn, no.
Okay.
Kenny Omega should be.
Okay.
Based off star power alone. And this isn't necessarily, this is just like a business thing. Like, they should make Kenny Omega champion because he's freaking Kenny Omega.
Right.
But face turn, yeah. Why freaking not?
Yeah.
Why freaking not? Adam Page, he's fantastic in the ring, fantastic on the mic, has all of the makings of a fantastic champion. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think he'd be a really great champion.
Yeah.
But I would say that Omega would be the better champion just based on a business standpoint.
I can agree with you on that for sure. Though I will say this. I'm going face turn on this simply because that would be shots fired all over WWE in terms of, hey, guess what? We actually made a star.
Yeah, that's true.
We took somebody and we gave him a journey to becoming, if they can make the journey right and they can build it right, which I have no doubt that they can.
Yeah.
They're not giving themselves the same constraints that WWE is right now. If they say, yeah, here's the story of Adam Page becoming the first ever champion, and you have Kenny Omega standing in his way in some kind of finals of a tournament.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah.
And then Adam Page somehow pulls out the win. He's your first ever champ. That's a great story.
Absolutely. And that would be really cool.
And that doesn't mean that Kenny won't ever win the title. I'm sure he will be like...
He'll be the winningest.
He'll be the winningest,
probably. Honestly,
absolutely. So that will be great.
Yeah. I really like that idea, and that is kind of an extra little jab at WWE. You know, I like that.
I think it'll happen. I think it should happen.
Right.
Speaking of things that should and should not happen, though, our last face turn heel turn before the Money in the Bank preview. So Becky Lynch introduced the world to her mom recently.
Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day out there, everybody.
Yeah, Mama Lynch.
Mama Lynch.
Yep.
The ma.
There you go.
As opposed to the man.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Someone took an acute notice of the ma, one Mr. Big E Langston.
Yeah.
He's got the hots for Becky Lynch's mom.
Oh, yeah.
So, face turn, heel turn, what would you think of an angle, or maybe not even an angle, but like even an actual in real life relationship between Becky Lynch's mom and Big E Langston?
Face turn.
Yeah.
Hey, if you make each other happy, then yeah.
Absolutely.
In terms of like a real relationship, you know?
Yeah.
If y'all really like each other and want to hash it out, go ahead. You know, I'm not here to stop you.
Yeah.
From a work angle, that'd be weird as all hell. Super weird.
You could make like an angle where like they get married at like a Las Vegas kind of thing, like an Elvis chapel.
Yeah.
And then like Becky Lynch and Big E have to team up. You know, Becky will go by Becky Langston.
Becky Langston, yeah.
And then Big E, they could be an intergender tag team.
Yeah, because those always work so well.
Win the tag belts, it'd be great.
Yeah,
that'll revive SmackDown. I'm down for this.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see where it goes. I think it's going to be a fine angle. There's
I don't even know if it's an angle.
Like,
let's be real. He could really just have the hots for her, and this could be like...
Based on how they were talking, it seems like an angle. It seems like they were trying to be a little comedic with it.
I don't know, man.
I don't know, because Big E straight said, I don't know if I need to say this on air.
I mean, so Big E said that he would like to be like a spin class instructor.
Yeah.
And Becky responded that from what her mom said, all he would need is some pedals.
Yeah. To which Big E replied in all caps and a bunch of exclamation points and question marks.
Yeah.
She trying to ride?
Yeah. So, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I think that's all you really need to know about this relationship and where it's going.
I mean, yeah, you're pretty much caught up.
We'll
see where that goes.
He took a really comedic picture of it was like him laying down, and he had like some like rubber gloves, and it was like a selfie picture, looking at a picture frame, and then he like the side picture next to it was like her face, like Mama Lynch's face. It was good stuff,
man. So
yeah, let's see where this goes.
We'll see. Where
Even if it's just a Twitter thing, I think it's just gold.
It's pretty funny. Yeah.
Well, so let's go from funny to money.
Hey, that was beautiful.
Oh, thank you. So next Sunday will be Money in the Bank. It will also be the last episode of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So
this is the last one
next week.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's why there's so many people like, oh man, like should I watch Money in the Bank or should I just watch Game of Thrones?
We'll see if they can bring this series out of the ashes.
Yeah. You haven't been a big fan of Game of Thrones so far yet, huh?
I mean, I love Game of Thrones.
Yeah, the last season.
8 though has been pretty garbo.
Oh man,
the battle was dope.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Than that, though, is like.
Well, let's see what happens this week. Maybe they ramp it up this week and give us a good build towards the last.
I have a
episode.
cool theory to share with you, off air.
Off air?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Off air. See, well, maybe we'll have to do this whole Headlock Talk After Dark thing where we can go full ham on some spoilers.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, no, I mean we're gonna watch Money in the Bank. We're obviously gonna give you an episode next week.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens with Money in the Bank. But let's preview it this week because I feel like it's worthy of your time, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
So there is a lot going on here with this card. Some of it looks great, and some of it a bit unnecessary. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we've got Tony Nese, who's the current cruiserweight champion for 205 Live. He'll
Much
be taking
deserved.
on. Yeah. He'll be taking on Arya Daivari. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't seen a lot of Arya Daivari myself. I've heard there's a lot of promise, though. So we'll just have to wait and see how this turns out. 205 Live.
It's interesting to see a cruiserweight title division without Buddy Murphy.
Or Cedric Alexander. Yeah. Or Mustafa Ali. Those were the big three.
Yeah.
And now that they've all moved on, 205 Live has to do some rebuilding, and I think this is a good place to start.
Yeah.
We'll just have to wait and see how that turns out. This will probably be on the pre-show, which I don't mind too much. It'll probably be one of the better matches on the card if we know what 205 Live's track record has been for pay-per-views.
Yeah. I really almost wish that they would take the 205 Live stuff off the pre-show. And put it on the main show. Yeah. Yeah, just because, it's...
They've done it a couple times.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Really? I haven't seen...
There was one where it was... I want to say it was Buddy Murphy versus Mustafa Ali. Back at... TLC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. I think it was TLC.
Right on.
If we're wrong, ladies and gentlemen, feel free to write back into us.
Yeah.
So yeah, good match. We'll have to wait and see how it turns out. Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio for the United States Championship. U.S. title has been on a massive downslide as of recently. We'll have to wait and see, and it's mostly has to do with they keep booking Samoa Joe to lose. And as much as I want to see Rey Mysterio get his win back over Joe just doesn't seem like a credible champion to me at this point.
Yeah. If you do want this this championship on Samoa Joe for an extended amount of time, he has to win this match.
Yeah.
If he doesn't,
who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, if he doesn't, it's very likely that, they have a rematch on the Raw after, and then it goes back to Samoa Joe. They've done it before. This title reign has been all over the place.
Yeah. Or maybe Rey loses, and then Dominic Mysterio, Rey's son, has to come in and beat up Joe, because Dominic's been training.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him in a match.
And then we have a Samoa Joe and Dominic.
Dominic feud. I don't know, man.
Could be dope.
It might be.
Hey, who knows? Maybe Dominic's like
super legit.
Incredible, yeah.
Yeah, like Andrade levels of awesome.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
That would be great. Speaking of Andrade, let's talk about the men's Money in the Bank ladder match real quick. We've got Braun Strowman, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, and Baron Corbin representing Raw. And then we've also got Mustafa Ali, Finn Balor, Andrade, and Randy Orton representing SmackDown. Now, I already know that Ricochet and Baron Corbin will be having a match on Raw this week. Most likely we'll have Braun Strowman versus Drew McIntyre. Big guys.
Yeah.
That's a lot of beef.
But
on SmackDown, they're actually going to have a Fatal 4-Way, which those four are going to have a lit match.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's going to be really nice.
I would like to see a SmackDown guy win it, but I have a feeling in my heart that Drew's going to win it. It looks like it's going to be a great match on paper, though.
Yeah. It's either Drew or...
it
really could just be Drew.
I do see scenarios where it could be Ricochet, where it could be Mustafa Ali, where it could be Andrade. I think Finn is good where he's at with the IC title, but you never know. It could be Finn.
I just think with what we've seen so far, it's going to be too early to pull the trigger on Ricochet, and then I don't know. Vince seems to hate Ali and Andrade. So I really don't see them winning either. And then obviously Drew McIntyre's the
It Boy,
the It Boy golden child. So I really don't see anyone winning here other than Drew McIntyre. However, it does look like a pretty decent match. Yeah. And I do like that they tied up the loose end with the whole Ricochet Robert Roode or Bobby Roode. Robert Roode now, right?
Yeah. Robert Roode.
Yeah. So they tied that up, which is nice. So yeah. It's gonna be a good match. I don't see anyone other than Drew winning, which is unfortunate, but it'll be all right.
Yeah, who knows? It could be a surprise. We could get Andrade to win it. I think that would be
killer.
Yeah. I would say probably top 3 in terms of like probability here. I would say probably Drew, and then Andrade. And then maybe a tie somewhere between Ricochet and Ali.
I really think it's, as much as I would love it, I really think it's too early to put it on Ricochet.
Yeah. I'm just, if they were smart, they would do it.
Yeah. No, I agree with that for sure.
Let's talk about, let's see here. Becky Lynch and Lacey Evans have a match for the Raw Women's Championship.
Finally.
This will be a big proving ground for Lacey Evans.
Yeah.
She's had a few matches. They've looked like squash matches all the way through. But every time her and Becky get together, it's a pull-apart brawl.
Yeah.
So it should be heated. I do expect Lacey to come out looking good. But that's going to be up to how far Becky can carry her.
Yeah, no, 100%. I don't see. I don't know. This is going to be an okay match.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't think it's going to be nearly as good as the Becky Charlotte match is going to be.
Okay.
Just because Charlotte has she's got more experience. She's got more she's got more time under her belt and everything like that. Not saying that Lacey Evans looks like bad in the ring or anything. She looks fine. I don't know. Using one of the words I used last week for wordplay, it's going to be telling. So we'll see how Lacey Evans is going to be going forward. I do think that I think this is going to be a good match for her, even if she loses. So absolutely.
I can agree with you on there. And if there's some kind of thing that happens in the match where it's like, okay, well, Lacey kind of either gets disqualified or there's a count out, whatever, shenanigans happens, it keeps her strong.
Yeah.
With Becky also maintaining the title.
I don't want shenanigans. I want a straight up singles match.
Decisive winner.
Yeah, Becky wins fair and square, but in a way that doesn't kill Lacey Evans.
Right. I mean, you would have to have a very good match out of her to get to that. So we'll have to wait and see. That's what previews are all about, right?
Yep.
Let's talk about Roman versus Elias.
Boo!
Oh, if you listen to last week's episode, Smells Like Mock Spirit, we noted in the intro about how we weren't looking forward to this at all.
I love how you equated it to 2% milk.
Yeah.
and the phrase, it's going to be a very bland match, and most people aren't going to like it. It sums it up perfectly.
I understand why there's people out there who like Elias a lot, but at the same time, it's like, I've watched him for about 2 years now. I can't tell you what his finishing move is.
Right.
Which that's really kind of weird of WWE. Normally they're like really in your face of like, oh, well, that's his finisher,
and it's called this. Yeah, no, for sure.
But then you've got Roman Reigns, who's like going at Vince McMahon, but Elias is like his lackey, Vince's lackey, kind of in the background here. This is just very strange.
Yeah, I don't know. The storyline that they're trying to go with here, they took like 10 minutes to build it.
Right.
And it just doesn't really make that much sense. I really don't think you could book a match that I care less about.
I mean, look, if Elias comes out looking like a complete superstar, I will eat my words.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But
we haven't gotten that before.
Yeah.
So.
I just don't know if Elias has it in him to be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
for sure.
We'll have to wait and see. Let's see here. Miz versus Shane McMahon in a steel cage. Talk to me a little bit here, Steven. You made some interesting comments off air.
Yeah. So I've been very vocal about this feud.
Yeah.
Saying that I like it a lot. It's junk food and all that. And I'm still not like 100% like get out of my face, but at the same time, it is kind of overstaying its welcome.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing I think that caused it, honestly, was the wild card rule, because now you're getting this feud 2 nights a week, instead of the one, and now it just feels like I can't get away from it, like. It had that old school junk food vibe of just, 2 guys beating the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
They got a feud going on.
Yep.
It's cool. And I'm still on board. I'm still on board, but at the same time, starting to get a little much.
Yeah.
A little much, a little heavy. Maybe dial it back a little bit and you can keep it going. But at this point, I hope that this match is the end.
I do too. So, I think that would be good if they would just finished it here. Mm-hmm. Though I think I made note of this on a prior occasion. I can definitely see Shane and Miz being perched on the top of the cage, battling it out, and then Miz accidentally clocks Shane just a little bit too much, and Shane falls over and goes through a table.
Through the announce table.
Yeah. And then it's like, Shane's the winner because he fell through and, his feet touched the floor first.
Yeah.
And then Miz is at the top of the cage being like, oh, man.
Well, if they do that, then they got to keep the feud going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll put it in Hell in a Cell.
Oh, man. Yeah. Man, now that you mention it, that's very well likely. That's very likely.
It's Vince McMahon booking 101. Yeah. Hell yeah.
So we'll see how the match goes. It's going to be a fine match. I mean, The Miz and Shane McMahon, they're both decent wrestlers. So I have no problem with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on to the ladies.
Ew.
We've got the ladies' Money in the Bank match for the women's championship contract. We've got Natalya, Dana Brooke, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Mandy Rose, Ember Moon, and Carmella. So again, just like with the men's, the winner who pulls down the Money in the Bank briefcase will get a future shot at the title. So is there anybody here who stands out to us?
Well, we did mention it on last episode. The two that I could see winning and really would prefer to win out of the eight of these ladies would be Ember Moon or Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
Ember Moon because she has the talent and she's never pushed.
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss because she's awesome.
Mm-hmm. No, I
you know.
No, I agree. Alexa Bliss would be a good foil to Becky, and they've had a lot of back and forth exchanges online, which again, that's how they're building some of these feuds nowadays. Hey, it's on Twitter, they've got beef, so let's have them hash it out in real life now.
Yeah.
I could also see Bayley doing it. I think Bayley needs to have a step up somewhere.
Yeah.
In which it makes her look better than what she is. I think she's on the up now. I think she's getting herself there. She just needs that marquee win to make it happen.
Yeah.
But I could definitely see it being Bliss. There's a lot of people who are like, yeah, it could be Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke might be in line to get a push. Who knows? About that. Yeah.
I do like the idea of Bayley winning it though. It's a really good way of still keeping her hot and fresh while you just like decimated her tag team, So, yeah, I like that.
Right. Yeah, no Sasha Banks here. They could not pull the rabbit out of the hat.
No.
Unless we all get a big surprise and there's a ninth entrant, a mystery.
Oh, snap.
Ninth entrant, and we get Sasha Banks somehow. But I don't know what the chances of that look like. Probably slim.
Very slim, yeah. That's what I would think.
Man.
At this point, I don't even know if Sasha would be game for that,
True.
It really just seems like she's trying to cut ties and jump ship, but...
I wouldn't blame her.
Yeah.
AEW needs a women's, a superstar to really put over the top their women's division.
And Sasha Banks could be the Dean Ambrose of the women's division. The huge WWE acquisition.
Possibly.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, we'll see what Jon Moxley's up to too.
Jon Moxley. Sorry.
I know we're
get sued.
I know we're tangenting a little bit here, but I still do think that AEW would be a great fit for him. It's just a matter of timing and seeing when it would happen.
I still think that AEW made that trailer.
Well, there's a lot of people who think that.
Yeah,
absolutely. But yeah, no, that'll be exciting. Next week we'll actually be covering Double or Nothing.
Yep.
So we'll cover Double or Nothing for the show, and then we'll watch Money in the Bank, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. Let's see here. So we're down to the last couple matches here. Kofi Kingston versus Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
This feud's been pretty interesting, and Kofi's really been the fighting champion that Seth Rollins said that he wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
Kofi's defended the title against Seth himself. He's defended the title against Daniel Bryan, and then on SmackDown this past week, he defended the title against both AJ Styles and Sami Zayn.
Mm-hmm.
So Kofi's
killing it.
Kofi's killing it, really.
He's been having a really, really solid run, for sure.
I enjoy it. But you have Kevin Owens, who he's a dastardly man.
Yeah.
Do we see a title change here?
No.
Okay.
I don't. I do see this feud going on longer.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Kofi's going to retain here,
okay,
and just kind of continue on with the feud with Owens.
Mm-hmm.
I still think it would have been a much better idea to have Owens stay babyface for a little bit longer. Really get the fans on his side, and then heel turn pretty much in the exact same way that he already did, but just maybe like a pay-per-view or two longer.
I could see that.
It would have had a much bigger impact, I think, and this match especially would have had a much bigger impact. But it's going to be a fine match. I don't see Kevin Owens retaining here, but I also don't. This isn't going to be the last of this feud that we see for sure.
Right. Well, and I could definitely see. I know we talked about we don't really want to have shenanigans, but this would be another occasion where I could see them doing shenanigans, where it's like, okay, well, we gotta build the feud again. We gotta continue this and keep it going. Make Kevin Owens, Kofi's arch nemesis here, and Kevin Owens just completely waffles Kofi, completely takes out Xavier Woods, starts powerbombing people through tables, uses a chair, uses all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Really beats down Kofi, and he steals the title, and Kofi's like, well, that's mine, and that's how the feud continues from there. I don't know, but I could definitely see shenanigans going down.
Absolutely.
For
I mean, you can pretty much see shenanigans in most WWE matches, honestly.
It's completely shenanigans. Yeah. The whole show. It's all shenanigans.
Yeah, pretty much.
Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. It's going to be a good one.
Oh, it's going to be a good match. It's going to be the second best match on the card, I think.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that.
What would you guess would be my number one match for the card?
It'll be a match that we haven't yet covered, perhaps. I mean, I do think the men's Money in the Bank has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's the one that I'm going with.
Okay.
For number one, honestly.
Okay.
I love ladder matches. I like Money in the Bank specifically. And a lot of great guys on there. So, yeah, I'm super pumped about that match.
Yeah, I am too. It'll be great. For sure.
No, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, the match is going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, every time you have both these women in a ring, it's fantastic.
They've got great chemistry.
They have really great chemistry, for sure. I don't, just to throw that out there, I don't see Becky losing either title at Money in the Bank. She's still going to remain Becky 2 belts.
I hope this puts a freeze on the whole Charlotte-Becky thing for a while.
Yeah. For sure.
It would be interesting to see if Becky finally evolves full circle to where they wanted her to be in the first place, and over time become a heel. So that way, later in the future, you can switch Charlotte back to face, make her have some sympathy, and have like another match between her and Charlotte and reactivate that.
Yeah.
Maybe possibly.
Really, the biggest thing that I'm hoping for out of this, like the entire Money in the Bank, is that this will give Becky and WWE the validity that they need to unify the women's championship.
I hope so.
Because Becky won both belts in one match. Now she's defending both belts in 2 separate matches.
Yeah. She
has defended both belts.
Yeah.
She is undeniably the SmackDown and Raw Women's Champion. Let's unify that belt.
Well, should we, in doing so, and again we're tangenting, but
yeah, I know. Sorry.
No, it's fine because I want to explore this here. In doing so, would you end the brand split and start unifying the other titles too?
Oh man, I mean that's a good point. That's a good point because that would be the natural next step towards that. Honestly, no.
Yeah.
And I would still have the brand split, but I would have traveling champions.
Okay.
If you win the belt, you're no longer on Raw or SmackDown. You're on both.
Right.
And you are where the number one contender is.
So there's a definite distinction then, for sure, that we should have. We can unify the titles, but that doesn't mean that we're ending the brand split.
Right.
Okay.
And that would bring on a more. This is like golden pie in the sky. How I wish it would go down.
Right.
And then there would actually be a set rule set for number one contendership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would work out. I think we talked once about like, hey, pie in the sky. Mm-hmm. Let's have like contenders rankings for different titles.
Yep.
But I do think that it would be quite interesting if you did have like one heavyweight champion or WWE champion, the IC champion, the tag champions, that kind of thing. I think that would be a nice thing to have, like you said, a traveling title.
Yeah, and only two traveling titles: the women's unified champion and the men's unified champion, and then you still have, the Intercontinental on SmackDown, United States on Raw, and then the two tag teams for both of them. And
what I was gonna say was this. No, you're fine. This could answer our questions earlier about, hey, what do you do at Survivor Series? Maybe at Survivor Series you should start unifying these titles.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Absolutely.
Just throwing it out there, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you here. I don't see Becky Lynch losing either title at Money in the Bank. Last but not least, the match I think will most likely main event here: Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles for the Universal title. If they give these two the proper amount of time, 20 minutes or so, I think that match would be great.
Absolutely. Yeah. Really, this is one of those matches that would really benefit from just no shenanigans, nothing weird, just a singles match, one-on-one. Both of these guys have the talent to put on an insanely good match, and they have before.
Yeah.
Just leave them alone, put them in the ring, and let them go for it.
Yeah. Even if this is a one-off where, like, at the end, AJ says, if AJ loses, AJ says, I just had to know if I had it. I just had to know if I could stand toe-to-toe.
Yeah.
And win the title.
And that almost gives more validity to Rollins, too.
Yep.
With an ending like that, too.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. I think it'll be a great match. I think that'll most likely be the match of the night for me. We'll see what happens with Money in the Bank. I think those guys are going to do a great job.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I really do see them pulling out all the stops there. Hopefully they give them 20 minutes, maybe more, to do a really good AJ Styles, Seth Rollins match.
No, this is going to be a good pay-per-view. I mean, there's really... can you bring the card back up?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's really only one match that I'm not excited for. Out of 10 matches, one match I'm not excited for, and I'm excited for 9 of them. It's a good card.
Yeah.
It's a good card. Good job, WWE. I'm excited.
Yeah, I know. I agree. You want to do some if wishes were fishes today, Steven? I've got my...
I don't have my wishes.
Oh, no.
Let's start with yours.
Okay. Yes. So this is our fun segment, If Wishes Were Fishes, where Steven and we make a wish, and the other will rate it in terms of fish.
Yes.
So, if wishes were fishes, I would like to see the 2 NXTs, and I think they'll probably plan on doing more, hopefully in the future. But I would like to see the NXT TV be its own thing, right? If you're paying the $9.99 subscription price to actually get the content that's worth getting from WWE, I would like to see NXT spread its wings and fly, be its own thing. The UK division has had some great television recently, and they're getting really packed crowds headed to those shows in England. So wrestling's really booming right now in Europe. Obviously, we talked about Progress earlier. I think that they're doing very, very well. You'll see a lot of crossover between the people in Progress and the people that are on NXT UK. I just see it being more than what people are giving it credit for. There's that whole stigma of they're just buying up indie talent off the independent scene and stashing them away on NXT. Well, sure, that's fine and good and everything. You can still have guys promoted to the main roster from NXT, but I would like to see it stand up on its own. Really, really prosper. They're going to have that new takeover on June the 1st. I don't believe there's going to be any I don't believe there's going to be any kind of WWE pay-per-view building next to it. So it'll be kind of a standalone thing. We'll have to see how well the NXT show on June 1st does and kind of go from there.
I was trying to find the that like list of all the Caribbean wildlife that one of our followers was so nice to tweet at us.
Yeah.
I can't find it.
It would have been from weeks ago.
It would have been from weeks ago.
Maybe a week or two ago.
Man.
I don't know.
Okay. So I'm gonna go with probably the only other fish that I know off the top of my head.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I really like that. I'm gonna go 5 rainbow trouts.
Oh, rainbow trouts.
5 rainbow trouts. Because they look cool.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's a really good idea. Especially with AEW on the horizon.
Yeah.
An NXT TV like .com
yeah.
or something would be fantastic and a really good way to compete, I guess.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too. All right. So Steven, what do you feel for if wishes were fish? If you had a wish.
Yeah.
And so I could give you fish for it.
Oh. Well, we'll have to find out what kind of fish.
Okay, let's see what kind of fish we're looking at.
So this is kind of a weird one, but I think it would be really cool just because it's 2 completely opposite, I guess, mind frames. But we have the Firehouse or Firefly Funhouse going on with Bray Wyatt on Raw right now, which is pretty much the only reason to watch Raw at this point.
Yeah,
and I think it's really great, and it's going to turn into something super demonic and super creepy and super backwoods.
Oh, yeah.
And one feud that I think would be really cool once Bray Wyatt does finally transform back into his old self or into something new, whatever. Bray Wyatt with Big E Langston.
Huh.
I think that would be a really cool feud just because it's 2 completely opposite ideals.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm just having images of like Bray Wyatt crumbling pancakes over Biggie Langston's unmoving body, and I don't know. It just seems really cool. I think they could do it correctly. So
yeah, no, I mean that would be awesome. Maybe he starts feeding it to like the buzzard that lives inside the box. Like he's like, hey, here's some pancakes, and he starts like jamming it into like the pancakes into his mouth.
Yeah,
and then like the other little dolls are like, oh no, what are you doing, Bray? It's like, oh, I'm starting to lose it. You know?
Or they have the that witch. What's her name?
Oh, I can't remember.
Have the witch feed him.
Yeah,
feed him pancakes. Oh man, they could do like a whole puppet show on the side of the ring, on the ring apron.
Big E's like looking all confused, like what's going on? What do you got? Why do you have my pancakes?
I'd be down.
That would be interesting. It'd be two big men colliding, for sure.
I don't know who they would put Bray Wyatt with once he does.
That is an interesting question.
Yeah. I don't even necessarily know if Big E Langston would be the best person to be with, but at the very least, we'd be getting a very interesting feud.
We'd have to know where he's headed to. I mean, You
mean like SmackDown Raw wise?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they've been playing the promos on both.
Exactly.
So
it'll be... That would be interesting. I don't know where he would go. I mean, I think you could always... you could always redo the Randy Orton stuff, because there was a picture or when Bray was doing one of the Firefly Funhouse, he drew here he made this painting or whatever. He's like, look at my painting, and it was of the Sister Abigail's cabin being lit on fire by Randy Orton.
Right.
So I think there might be something there.
I see. Okay.
So it'll be. I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give that 7 pufferfish.
7 pufferfish.
Yeah.
What kind of pufferfish?
I actually don't know what. I mean, I thought pufferfish were just like one thing.
No, there's like hundreds.
Okay.
Well,
so what's the weirdest looking pufferfish?
An imbu puffer.
An imbu?
It is pretty weird looking. Yeah.
Google it. How do you spell that, Steve?
EMBU. We actually have 2 of them.
Pufferfish.
In our our like jungle of aquariums that we have at our house.
If you're following along with me here,
yeah, there it is.
Yeah, the Mbu pufferfish, ladies and gentlemen. That's spelled MBU.
Yeah.
M as in Mary, B boy, U umbrella. Mbu pufferfish. Yeah, this thing's kind of crazy looking.
Yeah, it's a little wacky, right?
Yeah. So I'm giving it these 7 Mbu pufferfish here, simply because Bray Wyatt's just a weird guy.
Yeah.
And that would be that'd be quite a feud.
You got to have a weird fish to go with the weird feud.
Yeah. But you know what? That's worth the pancakes. And you know what? When those pufferfish blow up, they're round like they ate a bunch of pancakes.
True.
So
true. There you go.
I think we got something there.
I think you went with probably the best fish for that response. That was beautiful.
Well, thank you. We have quite a large mailbag this week, ladies and gentlemen, so we wanted to reserve enough time to make sure that we could cover all your questions, and we do greatly appreciate you guys forwarding us your questions.
Always. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you guys. So let's get right down to it. Let me pull up the mailbag here. Oh, it's a big mailbag.
That's a big sack.
That's a big full of mail.
Like MALE?
Like
or full of MAIL?
MAIL. Please, Steven. This is a family show.
Big sack of mail.
Big sack of mail. Jeez. So let's get right into it here. The MG Experience. He's on Twitter at the illustrious G40. Asks, should MLW, Major League Wrestling, or New Japan Pro Wrestling have a women's division? I'm actually all for New Japan having a women's division, for sure.
Yeah.
They would have to sign up a bunch of talent, though, because there's a lot of organizations around the world who have been buying up women's talent.
Yeah, for sure. And especially with like WWE and AEW, how much focus WWE has been putting on the women's division, and AEW is going to.
Yep.
A lot of the talent that's really huge has been bought already, or has been acquired. I'm definitely for the idea.
Yeah.
New Japan puts on some of the best matches I've seen. I don't see why a women's division would be any less than that. I think it'd be great, but yeah, it does kind of bring up, kind of an obstacle, I guess.
Right. Well, and I don't see having, while it is a great thing, I don't see having a women's division as being 100% necessary. And that's nothing against the ladies, obviously. But New Japan is kind of unique in itself in that nobody else, well, I mean, WWE has 205 Live, but nobody else really promotes a juniors division like what New Japan does. So they have a lot of irons in their own fire right now. They also have a 6-man tag title, division. That's something.
Yeah.
So there is a place for women's wrestling, and I think it would be unique to have that in New Japan. MLW, kind of the same case, right? Like, they need to foster an environment for them to have the women's talent first. And I think once either or both do, I think that would be a huge announcement and a pretty big game changer for either company.
Yeah.
100%. Let me see here. So thank you for your question, the MG Experience. Again, he's at the illustrious G40 on Twitter, so go ahead and give him a follow. Let me see here. We've got a couple questions here from the Last Draft Standing on Twitter. Again, they are at Last Draft Stand. Their first question here actually relates to the wild card rule. Do you think it would be best for WWE to end the brand split considering the new wild card rule? I think we answered that a little bit. I think we're both of the opinion that it would be better off to keep a brand split but have unified titles.
Yeah.
And for the champ to travel between there, to have a ranking system where you can be like, okay, well, these are the guys who are in line for an IC title match. These are the guys who are in line for the WWE title match. These are the top tag teams. These are the top ladies. I think that would make a lot more sense. And because UFC kind of has a similar kind of model on how they determine, who's in line for a title shot.
Right.
That would only make the most sense.
Yeah.
And UFC has a much bigger roster than WWE does. So we'll have to wait and see. They also asked, again, this is Last Draft Stand on Twitter, what are your thoughts on the Planet's Tag Team Champions and what it could do for the SmackDown Tag Division?
Very weird.
It was, okay, well, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit about this before. I just think it's kind of weird how, like, instead of just bolstering your tag team division, you just instead create a team with a guy who has a big name and try to kind of artificially inflate your tag team division.
Yeah.
You got great tag teams. Just push them.
Yeah.
You know? Like...
This is true, but at the same time, SmackDown really doesn't have good tag teams. They've got
lost the Usos.
Yeah, they lost the Usos. They've got the B team. They've got Heavy Machinery, and I think Heavy Machinery is going to be the ones who are going to feud with the Planet's champions first.
Yeah.
And then you've got who else? Shinsuke and Rusev. Mm-hmm. That's about it.
Yeah.
So either call up Mustache Mountain, like we suggested last week, or bring up some other tag teams, because right now the tag division is looking kind of weak.
It's just, I don't know.
Particularly on SmackDown.
For me, Daniel Bryan's a singles competitor. And
yeah.
I'm not, like, upset that he's in a tag team now, but that's not why I like Daniel Bryan. And... I don't know. The titles mean something now because you said they do, not because they mean something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they did put themselves into a bit of a pickle there.
Yeah.
They should have... Look, it would have been a lot cleaner if they were like, yeah, they win the tag titles. Right? Not just that they were given by Shane and said it was true. I think that's probably what put them down the most.
Yeah.
But I do like it as an interesting angle. And I do want to see where it plays out.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just excited that Heavy Machinery is going to finally get something.
Yep.
Stakes and weights, baby.
Steaks and weights. Steaks and weights. I cannot talk today.
That's okay.
Goodness.
Bland split.
Let me see here. Flashback Wrestling on Twitter asks... And this is they are at FBW Podcast, Flashback Wrestling Podcast. They ask, do you think it would be a good idea to bring back King of the Ring? Maybe tweak it and make the winner get an automatic title shot at SummerSlam. So you would ask me off air because you didn't remember too much about King of the Ring. I've seen some great King of the Rings in my years of watching wrestling. And from what I'm aware of, I think this would be, in all honesty, we talked about a couple weeks back about building tournaments and that kind of thing. I think this would be a great way to make new stars.
Absolutely.
To have King of the Ring. I know we've had the Worlds Collide shows like that on WWE Network where you have like 205 Live and NXT and NXT UK talent competing. I think the next logical direction in that would be having a tournament like King of the Ring come back, or even just a whole new tournament in general.
Yeah.
So that way you can make new stars.
No, absolutely.
Go ahead. Let's do this on like actual cable network, so that way people can be like, oh wow, Cesaro really is great. Or did you see, that Buddy Murphy match? Or Cedric Alexander looked fantastic. I think that's how you make stars.
No, I completely agree with all that. I think King of the Ring would be a really, really good way to really solve two problems. The entire, number one contendership thing that is pretty much non-existent at this point. And then also, like you said, star power and building stars. Those are two huge problems in the WWE roster right now. And that would not necessarily solve them, but be well on the way to getting better.
100%. Quick side note, our friends, the Last Draft Standing podcast, who wrote in their questions. Again, thank you all for your questions, by the way. We really appreciate doing a mailbag section for everybody. They actually wrote in a if wishes were fishes.
Oh snap!
Yeah, so they said that they wish WWE would build more stars and wins and losses actually mean something. again. I can't agree more. I'm gonna give that. One megalodon, like we talked about on the initial If Wishes Were Fishes.
10 lionfish.
Lionfish?
Yeah.
Those are pretty fish, too.
They are pretty fish. Yeah, like you said, I couldn't agree more. 100%. Yeah. I mean, that is, that's pretty much verbatim what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Really,
I mean, that is how you get back to having good content and good programming for wrestling 101. That's how you should build wrestling. In my professional opinion.
So last draft standing, 1 megalodon and 10 lionfish.
That's a lot of fish.
That is a lot of fish.
Yeah, that that's a lot of fish. Let me see here. Philly Sports Passion Podcast asks,
"Hey, great to hear from y'all again."
Yeah. Again, it's at Philly SP Podcast. They ask, does WWE need to do away with the brand split? I think at SummerSlam, that's where the brand split should end. All titles should be won. All titles should be won. So, They need to make the IC title mean something again like they did 20 years ago. Not just something that's just it just seems like it's just a jobber title. Not no more U.S. title, they're saying, too. I think what they mean is kind of like what we talked about earlier, too, where it's like, yes, unifying the titles is I think the solution.
That's the logical step.
I think that's a good logical solution to make things interesting. Mm-hmm. Should it happen as soon as SummerSlam? I mean, it just depends on how much more damaging their ratings become. I mean, I would like to ideally see it at Survivor Series, like we talked about, because I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't really see the IC title being a jobber title per se. Finn, I wouldn't consider Finn a jobber, but I'm hoping that
it was on Bobby Lashley not too long ago. So
I do hope that Finn brings the title more reverence.
Yeah, I think out of all the people who have held it in the last 6 months or year or whatever, I think Finn does have the potential to bring it back to its I guess former glory. I definitely don't agree with the no U.S. title, though. I like the U.S. title. I think the number of titles, if they were to unify them, I think the number of titles would be perfect. I like having the kind of sub-tier title that's not like the huge WWE Championship, but it is an Intercontinental Championship. I like having those mid-tier championships. The problem themselves is not the championships, but the way the title scene is booked.
Okay. No, I mean, I could definitely see your point there. Let me see here. Ooh. let's give this one a try. Anthony and Alex, they are at AA Talk Stuff on Twitter, the Anthony and Alex show. Great show, by the way. All of these are great shows.
Great guys.
Anthony and Alex are good friends of ours. They asked us to fantasy book Tyler Breeze into the main event of next year's WrestleMania. Boy.
Go ahead.
This one really stumps me.
Yeah.
So here's what you could do. Like I said, you make wins and losses mean something, right? You have Tyler Breeze just go on a huge hot streak, right? He starts maybe feuding with... I think Tyler Breeze is actually going to NXT, so that's a bit tough. But say he stayed on the main roster. Maybe he could start off small, picking up the odd win over guys like Robert Roode, guys like Eric Young, kind of build up some momentum. Maybe Samoa Joe drops his title to Ray, and then Tyler Breeze gets a huge win over Joe, and just kind of builds this wave of momentum up to the title. Wins the Royal Rumble somehow, and then faces maybe Seth Rollins or AJ Styles at next year's WrestleMania. That's a tough one. Tyler Breeze, I mean, nothing against the guy because he's wildly talented for sure, and he certainly deserves to still be in that company. And I think NXT is the best spot for him for sure. But Yeah. That would be tough to get Tyler Breeze back up and running off the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, you could. You know how they were doing like the Fashion Police with like him and Fandango?
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about having that Daniel Bryan tag team title match main event WrestleMania. Maybe we get the payoff of like some kind of weird fashion mystery between with Fandango and Tyler Breeze. They reunite the Fashion Police, and they discover that the people who've been doing all the wrong in WWE is Daniel Bryan, and they put the titles on the line, and the Fashion Police win the titles.
Am I wrong to want this?
I think it would be great.
I think it'd be great. I think you solved it right there.
Live in Tampa, Florida, the Fashion Police main eventing WrestleMania 36.
Fashion Police versus the Planet Champions.
The Planet's champions.
I like it.
It'd be great.
I like it. Good question, guys.
Good question. that one stumped me. Clothesline asks, and they are at Clotheslined D on Twitter. Great comfy shirts, by the way. They produce wonderfully made shirts. They ask, do you think that the Money in the Bank contract has run its course? It's been 15 years or so. The winners are no longer guaranteed to be the next champion. Should it be retired? A couple things. I think it's unique and interesting when the winners don't necessarily win the title. I think it has a bit more drama to it. And maybe WWE, and again, we're playing armchair quarterback here, but maybe they could have done a little bit more over the last 10, 15 years or so. Not every person who wins Money in the Bank has to become the champion.
Right.
I mean, I could see it running a little bit off course, though.
I mean, honestly, for me, Money in the Bank is one of the coolest pay-per-views, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I really like the idea of the match and everything like that. I'll just say it, with WWE's ratings going down and some of the hardships that they've had recently, I don't necessarily think that something that's been proven to work should be put by the wayside. WWE is going to have a lot of competition very, very, very soon. Yep. And I think they need to double down on the things that have been proven to work, with Money in the Bank being one of those.
Okay. I mean, I do agree, and it does help move things along. And again, I think that is a good tool, of course, too, to help build new talent.
Yeah, absolutely.
They just haven't done it. This would be a great year for them to really make something like that happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
So appreciate the question, guys, and I look forward to maybe picking up a couple of your shirts someday.
Yeah,
they're very comfy, I hear. Let me see here. Where are we now? Sports Opinions Podcast. They've written to us again. Big shout out again to you guys as well. They are on Twitter at SportsOpinion30. They ask, if the XFL has real success, do you see Vince giving up control of WWE and focusing only on XFL?
No.
No?
No, I don't.
I think it's possible. He's probably going to spend close to, there's been people projecting anywhere between $350 and upwards of $500 million over the course of 3 years on doing the XFL. Just to try and, Vince says he's a big football guy. I have my doubts a little bit. But I think he really wants to right the wrongs from his past and how badly XFL failed the first time around. I could see that happening, or I could see more or less maybe some kind of intervention with the family being like, hey, listen, you're 70 plus years old, you're running two businesses at the same time. They're both taking a bunch of your attention away. He already works until 4 a.m. most nights. It just seems to me like it may have to come to that.
Yeah, if the question was, do you see Vince willingly giving up control? No, I don't.
No.
but it may just come to fruition that that's what needs to happen.
Right.
You know?
And it depends on what you mean by control, right? Like, he's
Right.
never not going to be the owner until the one day where there's no longer a Vince McMahon.
Right.
He's never not going to ever not be the owner. But I do see him giving up the day-to-day controls over the things that he's used to doing.
Yeah, I really think it's going to come down to the success of XFL.
Yeah.
You know, if it does take off, yeah,
It's possible.
yeah.
Last question here. We have Lee Mawan on Twitter. He is at the Lee Mawan. He asks, or the Lee W Mawan rather, asks, what can the WWE do to make most, if not all, its fans happy?
That is impossible.
I think they can make most of their fans happy with certain caveats here. I think that they would have to certainly try their best to, again, make wins and losses count.
Mm-hmm.
That's step one. You have to make wins and losses matter. Step two, make superstars, or not even just make superstars, but I guess put us into a position where we can care about what's going on storyline wise.
Mm-hmm.
Write good stories.
Yeah.
Right. I think Vince needs to stop listening to people who will only tell him what he wants to hear. And I think that you have to have, possibly coming down to it being Triple H, who simply just runs the day-to-day broadcasting of the shows, the writing team. Make him be the guy who calls the shots on what you actually see on TV, and Vince simply is just the owner. He has the overriding power to veto something, but that's what he has.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably what would make fans, fans happy.
I heard make all fans happy.
To make most, if not all.
Right. I get that now. Definitely not impossible.
Yeah.
But there would have to be a lot of changes going forward, I think, if you wanted to make most fans happy. There's a lot of fans, there's a lot of people that just like WWE, and they're not like us. They don't sit down and have an analytical conversation. They don't really look back too much. They watch the show, they dig it, they wait till next week, and they dig that one too. So I don't know. It's definitely not impossible. But to get to a lot of the kind of analytical fans or the almost super fans, to get them happy, that's a lot.
Yeah.
There's going to have to be a lot of changes, honestly.
True. Baby steps. One day at a time.
Yeah.
Thank you for your question again. That was from Lee Mowen. Just wanted to give another quick shout out here. I know that we're working really hard to make things happen for you guys. We plan on doing some interviews with a lot of these guys who are writing in, like AA Talk stuff. We're going to have interviews with them. Another few podcasts out there. So we want to help spread the word. Yeah, and make sure we can give you people from other points of view sharing that. We're planning some pretty fun segments. I'm pretty excited. Yeah. So look for those interviews. We might be doing some 2 a weeks, where you'll get some episodes dropping on Wednesdays and Sundays.
Yep.
From here on out, we'll just have to wait and see how this builds. But while you are interested, definitely check out us on we're actually on a forum now, which I think is pretty awesome. overtimeheroics.com/forums. You can check us out there. We write some stuff on occasion for the forums. We want to make sure that people are digging it, and check those out. Have a discussion with us. Have a discussion with other podcasts, other writers, other people in the scene. And it's not just for wrestling either. It's for basketball, baseball, football. I'm big into soccer myself. I'm a big Liverpool fan from the English Premier League. They did not win the league this year, but I'm always on that site too, writing away on the forums. So no matter the sport, they've got you pretty much covered there on the overtimeheroics.com/forums. So definitely check those guys out there. Steven, do you have any final thoughts? No.
Not really.
Speechless. Well, we want to thank all you guys for listening again. Thanks to those who wrote us in on for our mailbag section, and thank you for again listening and for all your love and support. We greatly appreciate each and every one of you who downloads our episodes. Again, we are available on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube. If you have a question for our mailbag section, you can write us in at headlocktalk@gmail.com. Again, that's headlocktalk@gmail.com. You can also find us on Twitter. That is at Headlock Talk on Twitter. We were recently guests on Queen's Court with the Queen of NE, so definitely make sure to check us out there on her show. Again, that's Queen's Court. You can find her on Twitter at Queen of NE. You can also check her out on Brainbuster Radio. Mm-hmm. So again, that's at Brainbuster Radio, or you can search Brainbuster Radio on Spotify or on iTunes, whichever you prefer. But yes, we were on an episode of Queen's Court, Bad Boys for Life. We talk about the business of being a heel, mm-hmm. And what that means, and some of our favorite heels there. So
some of our least favorite
heels too. So be sure to check us out there. So yeah, we appreciate you guys. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay in tune for more great wrestling content. And until next time, I'm Tanner. To my right, the one, the only, Mr. Stephen Grudy.
Thank you guys.
And
later, y'all.
Later.